Good morning. I am Reshma. Today I am here to explain a novel for the class BA B.Ed second year paper 1 unit 5 A Passage to India by E.M. Foster. Now coming to the works of the life of the writer. He was born in London. His father was an architect and descended from an intellectual middle class family. But unfortunately, when he was only 1 year old, his father died. He moved away with his mother to a house in Hertfordshire. Foster says he was brought up in an unforgettable background. It was a very beautiful country full of agricultural land and had everything in terms of beauty spots. He says, I cannot and could not forget that abiding city, and still I used to visit the house once, which was my home. He studied in Tonbridge Public School and then, for his further studies, he went to Cambridge University. After his studies for 2 years, he traveled in Italy and Greece. Then he had a stay in Alexandria. He paid 2 visits to India. During his second visit, he formed the basis of his last novel, A Passage to India. He wrote 2 biographies to commemorate his family, his education, and liberalism. To name a few famous works, his novels were Where Angels Fear to Tread, The Longest Journey, A Room with a View, and the last one, A Passage to India. His short stories were A Celestial Omnibus, The Eternal Movement. The biographies written by him were Goldsworthy Loves Dickinson, Desmond McCarthy, etc. In the history, he described Alexandria, a history to a guide, and he wrote notes on Egypt. In his miscellaneous works, to name a few, were aspects of the novel Two Cheers for Democracy, The Hill of Devi, etc. Now, coming to explain something more about the writer, he was often known for his moral vision or his didactic works. Didactic works is something which is designed to teach people, especially a moral lesson. Now, as novel A Passage to India is also known for his didactic works. Now coming to our novel A Passage to India, this novel is divided into 3 parts. First part is mosque, part 2 caves, the third part is temple. The themes are love and loyalty, friendship and distance, and the third one is a very good theme, Mother Nature versus human nature. Now coming to the story of A Passage to India, or a small introduction to the novel in brief. This novel explains the relationship between the English and the Indians. Now it portrays the life of the small English community in the city of Chandrapur and the relations of this community with the local population. The relations between the English and the Indians are depicted both on the official and the social and personal levels. It also shows the relationship between the Indian communities, Hindus and the Muslims also. There are two ladies, the English officials who come to visit Chandrapur. They are Mrs. Moray and Miss Adela, who come to visit Chandrapur. These ladies have come from England. Miss Adela Quested has come because she is going to marry Ronnie, who is a city magistrate, the son of Mrs. Moray from her first marriage. The main events are Adela expresses her desire to see the real India. In order to help her, a young doctor, Aziz, arranges for the trip to Marabar caves. During the expedition, Adela enters the cave and on coming out has an impression that Aziz followed her and assaulted her. It means he had physically harmed or harassed her. Her accusations are made publicly. An explosive situation is created in the town. A trial takes place. Trial is a case. A trial situation takes place at which Adela is called for a witness. Then, when she was giving the witness, suddenly she realizes or she declares that no one had followed her into the caves. Maybe she is having some misconception. So the trial collapses and the temporary crisis declare into fears and the breakdown of public order, and slowly the life comes to a normal tenor. But this happens as Ronnie refuses to marry Adela and Adela returns back to England. The novel concludes with a long section devoted to an Indian festival which is attended by Mrs. Morris' son Ralph and daughter Stella, both by her second marriage. Mrs. Moray herself, who stood throughout the novel as a reconciling force between the English and the Indian, has died on the voyage home after an illness which began like Adela's crisis with an experience in one of the Marabar caves. So, this is in short about the story or about the novel A Passage to India. In our next videos, we will read about the novel in detail. Thank you.